In the midst of our daily struggles, amidst the noise and clamor of modern life, there arises a profound question: why does your life matter? In a universe so vast with billions of stars and galaxies, where does your existence fit? Is your life merely a fleeting spark in the darkness, or is it part of something far greater? It is essential, first, to address a fundamental truth: your life does indeed matter deeply and profoundly. The first truth to consider is that your existence is not an accident. There are forces beyond your understanding that have brought you into being, forces of creation, of nature, of society. From the moment you were conceived, you were an essential thread in the intricate fabric of life. Each person, each life, contributes to the whole in a unique way. Think of a vast symphony where every note, no matter how small, matters to the harmony of the entire composition. If any note were missing, the symphony would be incomplete. So it is with you. Your life contributes to the grand symphony of human existence. We must also acknowledge that this life, your life, is not meant to be lived in isolation. The human experience is communal. You are not a solitary figure, but a part of an ongoing story, one that spans not just your years, but the years of those who came before you and those who will follow. Every action you take ripples outward, impacting others, often in ways you cannot predict. This is the beauty of living within the bounds of time and history. Your decisions, your behavior, your character all find their place in shaping the world, for better or worse. But more than this, the very nature of life carries with it an inherent responsibility. It is not enough to simply exist. We are called to live purposefully, with intention. To ask oneself, how does my life contribute to the good of others, is to ask the question of moral significance. Every choice we make, whether to show kindness, to seek justice, or to strive for understanding, leaves an indelible mark on the world. It shapes societies, nurtures individuals, and builds communities. Our actions, however small, have consequences that echo across time and space. You see, to matter is not to be famous or celebrated, but to have a deep and lasting impact on those who cross your path. Your influence can be seen in a smile offered to a stranger, a word of encouragement to a struggling friend, or a quiet act of kindness in the face of adversity. In these acts, no matter how small, you find your place in the grand narrative of human existence. Every life is a story in itself, and it is the sum of all these stories, of all these lives, that make the world what it is. When you ask whether your life matters, remember this: your life matters because it is a part of the whole, and the whole cannot be complete without you. Your life matters because, in ways large and small, it contributes to the flourishing of others. And above all, your life matters because you, in your very being, reflect the complex and beautiful web of creation, and in this you are irreplaceable. Do not discount your worth. Do not dismiss your contribution as insignificant. You are vital, and your life in all its trials and triumphs is a testament to the deeper order of the world. What you do matters. You matter. And in the grand scheme of things, that truth is not only humbling but empowering. It is a call to live with purpose, to act with integrity, and to cherish the time you have to contribute to something greater than yourself. Your existence is not an accident, nor is it a random outcome of impersonal forces. It is the result of a complex and meaningful confluence of circumstances, each one significant in its own right. From the moment you were conceived, you entered a story much older and grander than your own. The fact that you exist in this particular place, in this particular time, is no small matter. The elements that brought you into being are vast, intricate, and extraordinary. Consider, for instance, the biological marvel that is conception. It is not simply a moment of chance, but a process that involves millions of factors working in harmony, a sequence of events that has played out across generations. Every ancestor that preceded you, from the dawn of humanity down to your immediate family, carried within them the very potential of your existence. Each generation passed on not just genetic material, but experiences, lessons, and cultures. In this sense, you are the culmination of countless efforts, struggles, and triumphs. Your life has unfolded in a world that has nurtured and shaped you, both visibly and invisibly. From the environment into which you were born to the education you received, the people you met, and the opportunities that came your way, all have contributed to the person you have become. Think of the countless decisions made by others long before you were born that had a direct or indirect impact on your life. Your parents, your teachers, your community, and even the broader social and political structures all played a part in making your life possible, giving it direction and meaning. The context in which you live is part of the larger story of humanity, and this context makes your life matter in ways that may not always be immediately apparent. Your birth itself is a moment of profound significance. There was a time when you did not exist, and then one day you did. That singular moment when you entered the world is a defining event in the grand narrative of human history. The fact that you are here, breathing and experiencing the world, is not a trivial fact. It is the culmination of an unfathomable number of factors coming together, from the alignment of stars and planetary systems to the very cells that formed your body. It may seem like a small thing in the vastness of the universe, but in reality, it is a miracle of cosmic and biological proportions. The complexity of life itself, of human existence, is a testimony to the intricacy of creation. This alone gives your life profound significance. It serves as a reminder that your existence is not random but part of an ongoing story, one that has unfolded for millennia and continues with your presence. Every life is shaped by the unique combination of factors that make it what it is. Your personality, your strengths, your talents, your vulnerabilities, these are all the product of your inherited traits and the experiences that have shaped you. Even the smallest details of your life, the circumstances of your birth, the place you call home, the people who influenced your early years, are woven into the fabric of your existence in ways that you may not always recognize. Each of these moments plays a role in shaping who you are and, by extension, why your life matters. Your very being is a living, breathing testament to the vast web of interconnected events, people, and places that brought you here. To understand why your life matters is to recognize the profound weight of your existence. You are not a mere spectator in the world, nor are you a fleeting and inconsequential part of the universe. Your life has meaning because it is part of a greater order. You are a unique individual, one whose experiences, choices, and contributions cannot be replicated by anyone else. No one else can live your life or make the choices you can make. Your life is shaped by the intricate interplay of forces that are impossible to fully comprehend, yet they combine to form something truly extraordinary. You may not always see the significance of your life in the everyday moments, but this does not diminish its importance. The fact that you exist, that you have the ability to think, feel, act, and influence the world around you is a manifestation of a purpose that is far greater than the sum of its parts. It is a testament to the complexity of creation, the intricacy of nature, and the vastness of the human story. When we begin to recognize the deep and interconnected significance of our lives, we start to understand that we are not simply individual beings, floating through time and space without purpose. Rather, we are part of something much larger, a vast, intricate web of existence that spans the generations, cultures, and histories of humanity. Your life matters because it contributes to this grand narrative. You are not a bystander to history, but an active participant in its unfolding. Your choices and actions, even those that seem small or inconsequential, have the power to influence the course of the world in ways that are often unpredictable and far-reaching. In this way, your life is not merely an accident, but a crucial element in the ongoing story of humankind. Your existence is part of the grand scheme, and that alone gives your life purpose and significance. The concept of interconnectedness is central to understanding why your life matters in the grand scheme of things. Human beings are not isolated individuals, separate from the rest of the world or society. Instead, we exist within a vast network of relationships and systems, each influencing the other in profound ways. From the natural world to the social structures that bind us together, everything is interconnected, and your life is an integral part of this larger whole. To recognize this interconnectedness is to acknowledge that every action, every decision, and every experience is not just personal, but part of a broader web of cause and effect. The impact of your life extends far beyond yourself, reaching out into the world and touching countless others in ways you may not even be aware of. In the natural world, the interconnectedness of life is immediately apparent. Consider the ecosystems around you: forests, oceans, rivers, and even urban environments. Each element in these systems plays a role in maintaining the balance of life. A single species, no matter how small, contributes to the overall health and stability of the environment. The bees that pollinate flowers, the birds that disperse seeds, and the trees that produce oxygen are all interconnected in ways that allow life to flourish. If any one part of this system were removed, the entire structure would begin to unravel. In the same way, your life is intertwined with the lives of others. Your choices and actions can have far-reaching effects, both positive and negative, on the world around you. Even the simplest decisions, what you eat, how you treat others, how you engage with your environment, reverberate throughout the world, affecting ecosystems and communities far beyond your immediate experience. The social and cultural interconnectedness of humanity is equally profound. Each person, whether they realize it or not, is part of a larger social fabric. From the family to the community, to the nation and the world, human beings are inherently social creatures. Our lives are shaped by the influences of others, and in turn we influence the lives of those around us. This is evident in the exchange of ideas, emotions, and experiences that form the foundation of human society. No individual lives in a vacuum. We are constantly affected by the people we encounter, the ideas we engage with, and the experiences we share. Similarly, our actions, whether in small, intimate circles or on a larger scale, can shape the world around us in meaningful ways. Think of the individuals who have had an impact on your life: a teacher who inspired you, a mentor who guided you, or a friend who offered support during difficult times. These individuals, in turn, influence the people they encounter, creating a ripple effect that spreads throughout society. Your life, too, has the power to create ripples, to touch others in ways that may never be fully understood but are no less important for that. The interconnectedness of life also has moral and ethical implications. When we recognize that we are part of a larger system, we begin to understand that our actions are not merely personal matters. They are linked to the well-being of others, the health of the planet, and the future of humanity. This understanding calls us to act with responsibility, to consider the consequences of our actions on the larger world. It is no longer enough to think solely about our own interests or desires. We must think about how our choices affect the lives of others and the sustainability of the world in which we live. For instance, the environmental choices we make, whether we recycle, conserve energy, or support sustainable practices, have a direct impact on the planet and future generations. Similarly, our social and political actions can influence the course of history. By participating in democracy, advocating for justice, or standing up for equality, we contribute to the shaping of society. These actions, though they may seem small or inconsequential at times, form part of the broader movement toward a better world. The recognition of interconnectedness also calls us to understand our place within the broader historical narrative. Each person's life is shaped by the events and circumstances of the time in which they live. We are all products of history, influenced by the struggles, triumphs, and challenges of those who came before us. Yet we are also contributors to history, helping to shape the future in ways that may not be immediately apparent. Your life matters because it is part of the ongoing story of humanity. The choices made by individuals in the past have shaped the world we live in today, and in turn, the choices you make today will influence the world of tomorrow. You are a participant in the grand historical narrative, and your actions, even if they seem small in the moment, are part of the unfolding story of humanity. It is in this web of interconnectedness that the true value of your life is revealed. You are not an isolated being disconnected from the world around you. Instead, you are part of a larger system, a system that is constantly evolving, growing, and changing. The relationships you build, the impact you have on others, and the legacy you leave behind are all intertwined with the world around you. Your life matters because it is part of something greater than yourself, and in this interconnectedness, your significance is both magnified and enriched. To recognize this interconnectedness is to understand that your actions, however small they may seem, are part of a much larger, ever-evolving story. Your life is woven into the fabric of existence, and in that weaving it plays a role that is irreplaceable. The moral responsibility that comes with understanding the significance of your life is perhaps one of the most profound aspects of recognizing your place in the world. It is one thing to realize that your existence is meaningful, but it is another to acknowledge the responsibility that comes with being part of something larger than yourself. When we begin to understand that our lives are not isolated, but deeply interconnected with the lives of others and the world around us, we must also recognize the profound moral obligation to live in a way that reflects this understanding. It is not enough to simply exist, we must actively contribute to the betterment of the world, and in doing so honor the interconnectedness of all life. This moral responsibility is often rooted in the recognition that our choices and actions have far-reaching consequences, both for the people around us and for future generations. The choices we make, whether in the way we treat others, the way we engage with society, or the way we care for the planet, all have an impact on the world. Every decision carries weight, and every action reverberates through the lives of others, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond our immediate circle. This is where the moral responsibility lies, in the awareness that our individual actions can either contribute to the flourishing of life or, conversely, harm the world in ways we may not immediately see. As such, our responsibility is not just to ourselves but to the greater whole. We are not simply individuals pursuing personal desires, we are part of a larger moral framework, one that calls us to act in ways that promote the well-being of others and honor the shared values of humanity. Part of this moral responsibility involves understanding the interconnectedness of human society and the need for empathy and compassion. The recognition that we are all part of the same human family invites us to live with greater kindness, to consider the suffering of others, and to act in ways that alleviate that suffering. The moral duty to show compassion is rooted in the understanding that every person, regardless of their background or circumstances, is deserving of respect and dignity. When we acknowledge our shared humanity, we are called to live in a way that uplifts others, to lend a helping hand when needed, to offer a listening ear, and to show kindness and understanding even in the most challenging of circumstances. This is not a passive form of responsibility, but an active, deliberate choice to engage with the world in a way that honors the dignity of every individual. Moral responsibility extends to the choices we make on a broader scale, particularly when it comes to social and environmental issues. In a world that faces numerous challenges from poverty and inequality to environmental degradation and political unrest, our responsibility as individuals is to consider how we can contribute to positive change. The problems we face are not just abstract issues, they are deeply personal, affecting millions of people around the world. Our moral duty is to recognize that we are not exempt from these issues simply because they may not directly affect us. The plight of the poor, the marginalized, and the oppressed should concern us, for their suffering is a reflection of our shared human experience. It is our responsibility to take action, whether through direct involvement in social justice efforts, supporting organizations that advocate for change, or simply living our lives in a way that reflects our commitment to fairness, equality, and human dignity. Environmental responsibility is another key aspect of our moral obligation. The state of the planet is intimately tied to the actions we take, both individually and collectively. As stewards of the earth, we are responsible for ensuring that future generations inherit a world that is capable of sustaining life. This means making conscious choices to reduce our environmental impact, whether through sustainable consumption, reducing waste, or advocating for policies that protect natural resources. The moral duty to care for the planet is not just about ensuring our own comfort or convenience. It is about protecting the earth for the sake of future generations and for the countless species that share this world with us. When we recognize that we are part of an intricate, interdependent system of life, we understand that our actions must reflect a deep respect for the natural world. The moral responsibility to live purposefully also involves the duty to strive for personal growth and integrity. We are called to live with honesty, to develop our talents and abilities, and to contribute to society in a meaningful way. This means taking responsibility for our own actions, acknowledging our mistakes, and striving to improve ourselves continually. It also means being mindful of the impact our behavior has on others, not just in terms of our actions, but also in the example we set. The way we live our lives, the choices we make, the values we uphold, and the way we interact with the world speaks volumes about our moral compass. Our responsibility is to ensure that we live in alignment with the values we hold dear, and that we act in ways that promote the common good. Moral responsibility also involves the recognition that we are part of a broader ethical framework. We are not isolated beings simply pursuing our own desires. We are part of a moral universe that calls us to act in accordance with principles of justice, fairness, and equality. Our actions are not just judged in terms of how they affect us individually, but in terms of how they affect the larger society and the world. This requires us to think beyond our immediate desires and to act in ways that promote the collective good. Whether through contributing to charitable causes, standing up for the voiceless, or advocating for policies that promote justice and equity, our responsibility is to live with a sense of moral purpose, recognizing that our actions are part of a much larger moral order. Moral responsibility is not just about adhering to external rules or obligations. It is about living in a way that reflects our deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of life and the moral obligations that come with it. It is about living with intentionality, purpose, and compassion, recognizing that our lives matter not just for ourselves, but for the broader community of which we are a part. The moral responsibility to live a meaningful life is, at its core, a call to contribute to the world in ways that promote the flourishing of all.